This is ARC Sports.
Welcome in to ARC PDX Sports. Good people, Tyree Smith here with you. We got a great show for you folks. You know we got to talk about this top 10 matchup that's coming on Saturday. We got a little bit of a change in quarterback down in fast break. And you know the Portland Timbers, final stretch of this season, so we got to talk to them. But first, before we get to any of that, we got to recap. Man, this rivalry game on Saturday was something else. And obviously to help me do that is the West Coast Bias team, Jason Scukanec, Andrew Nemec. You already know Jason, 105.1 The Fan, Andrew Nemec, Prep Redzone reporter. If you need anything about scouting, about high school recruits, you go to Andrew. And if you need anything about applying and getting back there on the field, you better go to Jason because he already knows what's going on. Fellas, let's go ahead and recap Saturday in Eugene. It was, great for the first 20 minutes? 25?
Yeah, I'd say that's about correct. Look, we'll give Oregon State some credit. They came out and played hard, and there's just not a lot you can do at this point. Oregon is in a much different spot than Oregon State is right now.
You look at this matchup, and really, once we got past a sleepy first quarter for Oregon, they really did dominate. And to be honest, I was disappointed with Trent Bray's post-game comments, saying he was happy with the way his team played for the first half. They were tripled in yardage. They were tripled in points. I didn't realize that that's how far Oregon State had fallen, thinking they were 1/3 of Oregon. I don't think that's acceptable. That seems to be echoing an athletic department that feels like this is enough because they got left behind. Listen, this is a program that can be a Fresno State, a Boise State, can be a Cinderella in the college football playoff with the right vision. And I think we need to start tweaking the message from, hey, this schedule was hard. We played Cal, we played Fresno State, to, hey, we're going to go to the Pac-12, the new Pac-12 next year, and we're going to be a bully.
Yeah, I mean, they had 150 total yards. And outside of that one drive they had, I don't think they had another first down until the fourth quarter when you were down by 35 points. So I do understand the frustration there in that, you know, you showed some life, you showed some promise early in the game. But, I mean, being down 21-7 and that right now being the thing that you hold your hat on, I'm with you. That does kind of signal a low point of where the Oregon State program is. But at the same time, I think that's what you're working with. Because if you're Trent Bray, what else do you point to? At this point, if you're trying to put a positive message out, the only message you can put out is that for one half, we kind of competed with the number 6 team in the country. And like I said, I just think that's indicative, unfortunately, right now of where the program's at. And, you know, I guess you could say it can only go up from here because I don't know where it gets lower.
The schedule gets easier. They've got Houston on Friday night, and then after that, I think things progressively get easier for them. So there is a chance to finish on a little bit higher note. Certainly, from Oregon's standpoint, the trenches are still a question only because they haven't played elite competition. We still haven't seen Dante Moores look fabulous on the road in a big environment, but we did answer some questions. I feel like we know the pecking order of the wide receiver room. We know the pecking order of the running backs. And for the first time, the defensive backs were tested a little bit. Trent Walker is a good receiver, and they shut him down. I thought all three of those things were good to see from Oregon's side.
Yeah, going forward, if you're Oregon, you're about to find out whether or not you're one of the better teams in the country or if you're a legit national title contender. And for Oregon State, this is what I'll say for Trent Bray and company. There is no excuse for getting blown out anymore. There's not a single team going forward on your schedule that should overwhelm you. Not saying that you need to win all these games, but all this woe is me stuff and the 0-4 has to get put behind, and there's no more moral victories. From Houston to Washington State to App State to Lafayette, there's not another team on this schedule that should overwhelm Oregon State from a talent standpoint. So I do think in both cases, it's time to find out where both of these programs are. And I know there's different expectations and they're held to different standards. But to me, I mean, both of those things ring true. These next few weeks with Oregon, with Penn State and Indiana, and then Oregon State, to me, if you lose the next 2 games, if you're Oregon State, that's indicative of where you're at. And then at that point, real tough decisions need to be made. And for Oregon, like I said, the next 2, we will learn more in the next 2 weeks about this Oregon program than we have in the previous year. Because it's not just Penn State, it's Penn State and Indiana both coming one on the road and one at home. But these are 2 monumental weeks for Oregon coming up to find out just how good you really are.
They're coming in a little more well-equipped than we thought. This wide receiver room, when Evan Stewart went down, we went, okay, he's a 5-star true freshman, but we've seen Cameron Colvin. That didn't work out so great. And then Malik Benson has jumped around some elite programs, but we haven't seen him be dominant. Gary Bryant Jr.'s missed time, Justice Lowe, Kyler Casper. We weren't real sure. I feel pretty good about that group going into Penn State. Do I think they're world beaters outside of DeCorian Moore? Maybe not, but I trust them in a big game.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing I'm worried about is the defense, because let's be honest, the offense has been fine ever since Dan Lanning got here. But in these biggest moments, it is when the defense hasn't shown up. So this is what I want to see. I want to see the defense come out and put forth a great effort against Penn State. That's the one thing that's been lacking this Dan Lanning era, is a big defensive performance in one of these big marquee games.
Especially coming from a guy that's defensive prowess known from his time in Georgia. So this Saturday's going to be quite interesting, and Friday's going to be even more interesting to see if the Beavers can get their first win hosting Houston in Corvallis.